Acting, singing and now teaching. There is nothing Toni Pearen can't do. She's been in the industry for almost 30 years and hasn't aged a day. Toni first got her break on E Street at just 17 years of age before taking a dip at Summer Bay in 1994.
Trust me, Tug. We'll get you through these exams. You just have to have a little bit of faith in yourself.
Toni was also a pop sensation with two ARIA Gold singles, I Want You and In Your Room. And now the mum of two is passing on tips and tricks to the next generation who hope to follow in her footsteps. Ah, Toni. Oh. So good to see you.
So nice seeing all my kids there.
All the incarnations.
I know. Like, once a mother, you just, like, lose your mind. You just want, just want all the kids to be nurtured.
Hey, Toni, take us back to the start. How did you get your big break?
Well, I was singing and dancing and acting from a very, very young age. I think at the age of 8, my parents said, we need to nurture this energy that she has. So they took me to a talent school and I spent all my time there. And then E Street came along while I was still in school. So I was studying my HSC and there was big discussions around the dinner table as to whether I'd take the role, and my parents were adamant that I didn't and I was adamant that I did, and then I agreed to stay in school and finish my HSC whilst appearing on E Street. So I had an on-set tutor and I had lots of the cast members helping me, tutoring me along the way. Lots of them were, very good at Shakespeare and they helped me with English. And, it's just amazing, it's not only about acting, it's about knowing the world. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing. Good education, really.
That's great.
I bet. What do you remember about your very first day on set?
Well, I remember just being awestruck, and I was young and I didn't know that much, although I'd been, training for a long time, I didn't know that much and I was very green. So I remember standing there and not understanding the terminology and not knowing what they were putting in front of my faces, and even to the point where they put me in elocution classes because I was a girl from the Shire. And they couldn't really understand what I said too much. So they put me in elocution classes with this lady that lived in Paddington, and she made me say "How now, brown cow" for 6 months.
Wow.
And and then I stayed on the show for 3 years, so it obviously helped.
Yeah, Toni, there's been a slew of Australian actors that have been on shows similar to the ones you've just mentioned and have gone to LA for the LA experience. How was it for you?
I mean, it was a great experience. I'm glad that I said I was going to do it and I took the plunge, because it takes people a lot of courage to do it, because it is a big pool of a lot of actors and you don't have your support network around you. But I mean, it was a great experience for me to understand the industry on a whole other level and to be competing with people that are just extraordinary, and and it upped my game. But I think in the end it made me realise that there's no place like home. And I wanted to be closer to family. I mean, it just got to that point where I had to make the choice, and my choice was to come home.
Speaking of family, you just took your kids, lucky never, over to LA for a visit to go and see their godmother, Kim Wilson. How was the trip? How'd they go on the plane?
Well, the plane ride over was pretty horrendous. Yeah, it was 14 hours of utter hell. And anyway, we got there in the end. Lucky threw up for an hour and a half, but it was all fine. And it's amazing their resilience, because once we hit the ground, they were just incredible, and they're meeting all these new faces, and obviously spending time with their godparents. They loved it. We took them to Disneyland, and it was just like the most amazing memories. I'm so glad we did it.
Good
Absolutely.
stuff.
Now you're teaching. How are you enjoying that?
Yeah, teaching is, it's definitely eye-opening, and I love that, I mean, I've taken many years off to raise the kids, and I remember now what I actually was before I had children. Now I'm sharing what I know from so many years, and it reminds me that there's so much more to me than cooking dinners and washing out dishes.
Oh, that's great. Hey, Toni, you ready to take on the Fast Five?
Oh, gosh, yeah, I'll do my best.
All right, let's kick it off. Best role?
Best role? Well, I did play a role on Tough Nuts on Foxtel many years ago, and I played Tilly Devine. And it was just after I'd had Lucky, and it was just a really small role, so I thought I have to take it because she's, you know, she's a really tough character, and I had to learn to do the accent, and I had to be someone that I've never really found in myself before, so that was quite challenging. I always prefer the challenging roles.
Good stuff.
Okay, favourite co-star?
Wow. Well, it's hard. I mean, I'm going through E Street in my mind, and I'm thinking about Simon Denny, where I had to kiss Simon Denny for many, many weeks
Nice
on
one.
end. Well, now Simon Baker. You know, I mean, there's Marcus Graham. I mean, so many amazing co-stars that I've had over the years. It's too hard to choose.
And
Good
just
stuff.
quickly, is there a role that you wish you got?
I mean, every role, it's great to get a great role. I mean, I've been pretty lucky. I do remember there was this one role, but it's funny how you want the role and then the film's not a success. But it was for, it was called Playing Time with Patsy Cline. It's an Australian film, and Miranda Otto got the role. But she's a singer. She loves Patsy Cline, and I remember going into the audition with my guitar, and I learnt the song, and I was singing along and everything, and I had big ambitions, but yeah, they never called me.
Unreal. Never mind. It's good to speak to you this afternoon.
You
Thanks
too,
so
guys.
much, Toni.
Thank you so
Great
much
to
for
see
having
you.
me on.
Coming up for you at home, which ice cream flavour might be drying up? Any guesses, Toni?
Oh, cookies and cream?
No. Find out if it's your favourite next. Stay with us.